So we're almost ready to paint. This is what I want to paint. This is my helper, Summer, the Quaker Parrot. And these are the paints that we're going to use. This is a faded version of this particular photograph. My father took this picture. I like birds, so I'm going to focus more on the swans and less on the mountain than my father did. And Summer's going to help me with that. Painting landscapes is not actually something that I consider myself good at. Most of the time, I will go only for portraits and only paint very close up on people's faces, even when I'm doing a miniature. However, I'm trying to expand my abilities, so I decided to go outside my comfort zone. And the excuse was that this beautiful photograph that my father took and had enlarged and had on his wall for a very long time, this beautiful photograph from Scotland in 1963, has over the years really lost a lot of its color. And one thing that I can bring back is the color. That's myself as a 3-year-old in Scotland. And this is one of those pictures where you don't see my face because I am facing the swans. So this is not an opportunity for me to do a portrait, and certainly not a portrait of myself. But I thought it was kind of interesting the way I was sitting there, as very young children can do. And the older you get, the harder it is to sit like that. I'm not sitting on anything. I'm just sitting there and watching the swans go by. And I'm not necessarily very good at drawing swans. I used 2 reference photographs for this painting. The first one, of course, is the faded photograph by my father from our trip to Scotland as a family. And the second reference photograph that I used was a picture of 2 swans, so that eventually when I could see that my swans, based on the distant view of the swans in the photograph, were not quite correct, I turned to the second photograph and tried to make the swans a little bit more realistic. What ended up happening was that this painting on an 8x10 a canvas board in acrylics is probably a great deal more abstract than most of my paintings. You can see the colors, you can see the shapes, but only partially. And yet there is this feeling that there is water there, and there are birds in the water, and yeah, they're probably swans. And yes, it's a little girl with 2 little braids and dressed all in red. And by the way, red is my favorite color. And you can kind of see where the sun is coming from, where the light is coming from. So I consider this a success, even though it is a bit of an abstract.